Kenya has one of the greenest power systems in the world. Nearly 90% of its electricity comes from renewable energy, more than most countries in Europe, more than the United States. And yet, blackouts still happens. Lights suddenly go out, entire neighborhoods lose power, businesses shut down. So how can a country with one of the cleanest electricity systems in the world still struggle to keep the lights on? The answer reveals something surprising. Because Kenya doesn't actually have a power problem, it has a grid problem. And understanding that problem explains a lot about how modern infrastructure really works. Over the last 2 decades, Kenya quietly built one of the most unusual energy systems in the world. Most countries still rely heavily on coal, oil, or natural gas, but Kenya chose a different path. Instead of fossil fuel, the country invested heavily in renewable energy. Today, almost 90% of Kenyans' electricity comes from renewable sources. The most important one is geothermal power. Deep beneath the Rift Valley, enormous heat from the earth rises toward the surface. Engineers drill kilometers into the ground to reach this energy. Heat stream rises upward and drives massive turbines that generate electricity. And unlike solar or wind, geothermal runs 24 hours a day. No clouds, no wind changes, just constant electricity. Geothermal is the backbone of Kenya's power system. But it's not the only source. Hydropower from dams and rivers have powered the country for decades. Wind farms generate electricity across open landscapes, and solar power is expanding rapidly as well. Together, these sources created something remarkable, one of the cleanest electricity systems in the world. Many industrial countries still struggle to reach 40% renewable energy. Kenya reached nearly 90%. So, the real question is obvious. Why do blackouts still happen? The first reason is demand. Kenya is urbanizing rapidly, cities are expanding, industry are growing, and millions of households are connecting to electricity for the first time. Just 2 decades ago, large parts of the country had no electricity at all. Today, electrification has expanded dramatically. That's a huge development success, but it also creates a new challenge. Electricity demand is rising very quickly. Every new apartment building, every factory, every shopping mall, every data center, all of them increase pressure on the system. To understand the real problem, we need to look at how electricity systems actually work. They have two completely different parts. The first is generation. That's where electricity is produced. Power plants, wind farms, geothermal turbines. Kenya is very strong in this area, but electricity also needs something else, a system to move power across the country. This system is called the power grid. Electricity travels through thousands of kilometers of transmission lines, substations, transformers, control systems. This network must constantly balance supply and demand. If too much electricity flows through a line, it can overload. If parts of the grid fail, entire regions can lose power. Kenyan electricity generation has grown quickly, but the grid hasn't expanded at the same speed. Urban demand is rising, industrial zones are expanding, cities like Nairobi are growing rapidly, and the infrastructure connecting all these places is under pressure. Kenya doesn't have a power problem, it has a grid problem. Electricity is the foundation of modern economies. Factories need stable power. Hospitals need uninterrupted electricity. Data centers require reliable infrastructure. When the grid becomes unstable, economic growth slows down, and this challenge becomes even more important in fast-growing countries because urbanization increases electricity demand every single year. The faster city grows, the more pressure the grid faces. Despite these challenges, Kenya's energy future is actually very promising. The country still has enormous geothermal potential. Experts believe the Rift Valley could generate several times more geothermal electricity than today. New transmission lines are being built to strengthen the national grid. Regional electricity connections are expanding across East Africa. In the future, electricity could flow between countries, balancing supply and demand across an entire region. And that could turn Kenya into something remarkable, a clean energy hub for East Africa. Kenya already achieved something many countries are still struggling to do. It built one of the greenest electricity systems in the world. But clean electricity alone isn't enough because modern power systems depend on something even larger, the network that moves energy across entire nations. The challenge isn't just producing electricity. It is building the infrastructure that keeps the lights on.